if you're watching this, you are destined to watch this, and there's a message here for you. And if you're watching this, you are probably connected to the line of the Dawn Sisterhoods, or the Sisterhood of the Dawn. Letting the light move through you and create the changes that you desire. Allowing the sound of truth to move forwards in your life. Letting go of resistance to change and even to struggle, to allow the struggle to end. Letting the fight be over through the sanctity of your voice, the sanctity of your truth, and the aspects of you that are aware of love. Awareness of love is your key point, your structure beneath the sound of your truth. This is the pathway for the highest expression of the divine feminine to lessen her burden and worries of fear by surrendering to the force within, that which is her voice, that which is her true sound, the harmony that can take place through her womb, through her vessel, when she chooses to surrender fully to the pathways of God that have been written before her time and the end of time. No illusion, only truth. No false realities, aspects, only truth. Pushing away, breaking away from these decisions and choices that have led you down challenging road and stepping into higher pathway, higher frequencies, peace and love through the aspects of you that know already how harmonized you are with the earth sound, with the earth mother. The mother is greatly present in your life right now. The mother is transmuting and changing so much that you do not see. Lessening your burden and your worries by remembering the path of who you truly are, no matter what. No matter the circumstances, you are the water, you are the love of the mother. This essence comes through you and it cannot be changed, it cannot be forced away. Only purity, only love can move you through the pathways of least resistance into freedom. When you choose to trust without resistance and you choose to let go fully into a death, even into a rebirth, is what becomes rebirth, is the solution. No other end can happen other than rebirth. To position yourself in a way where the life stream has ended of an old self and come into new form, new life. All life goes through this process of change. Initiation is to go through birth and death and rebirth again and again without force. Feminine force is the nature of your being. Feminine force is the illusion that you are moving and becoming. It is a dance of chemistry and colors and multicolored shifts that can create what starts as illusion, meaning fine and not yet formed and formless, and coming into a solidity of truth and wisdom. Everything that happens in your life now is perfect. All that you have become and the courage that you have faced, it is yours. It is yours now. Take charge of your life with the initiations of your rebirth and let go of worry, let go of fear. Listen to the inner voice and listen only to this, only to that. Nourish yourself, nourish your body, and initiate yourself through the next challenge, through grace, wisdom, ease, and peace. Freedom becomes you now. Freedom is the birth, and it is the right of your feminine. It is the right of every woman to let go so that she can shift and change into her metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is the nature of the feminine. Do not be discouraged by false circumstances, illusions that seek to dissuade you. For you are forgiveness, you are light, and cherished in you is the blessing of love that cannot be undone. The blessing of light that is so available for you, dear one. It is so here for you now. Would you choose it? Say yes to it. This is how wings are formed. This is how wings are formed. Peace is yours. Affirming in yourself, I am enough. Taking on the wings of freedom, already born within you, only ready to unfurl. And so it is. Hi everybody, thank you for being here. So I want to share with you that as I'm receiving this, I'm also going through that initiation, and it feels vulnerable to say that, to speak that, but I'm doing so because my intuition is guiding me to, and it's part of the transmission here. So right now, at the end of the channeling that just happened, I'm seeing this incredible, like, new dawn light. It's like a beautiful white light that is dawning, and it's so white. It's like the whitest sun like ever, and I feel that I'm receiving it still in my body, and that's why I'm speaking a bit softly, and my body feels a bit funny. I want to share this with you. I feel that I'm being called to share this with you. Like, I'm listening to Spirit now as well. She's saying, you know, the sound of sisterhood, the song of sisterhood is to be in your truth. And there's been layers of myself that I have been removing recently. and really going through really strong death portal. And the sensation, I guess probably unique sensation that I associate or that I experience with death is really uncomfortable. And that's sort of moving around in my body now as I'm speaking to you, as I receive that white sunlight at the same time. That's what's actually causing it to shift and move through me. And this is a really important teaching point, because we have to understand that, like, when you are going through triggers or you're going through difficult experiences, a lot of the time, the trigger or the activated emotion, it's being triggered because the light is being poured in and it's being cleansed out. And we can be like, oh my God, like, it's this situation, this circumstance, or just where did this come from? And for me, it's almost comforting to remember, especially do your best to remember if you're very not having a good time, that this trigger or bad feeling or whatever is here because there's light coming into you. And in that way, for me, that's comforting, because it provides a sense of trust and non-resistance, or less, as much as I can, less resistance to that sensation. And so this is, overall, we could call this a process of alchemy. And that's the nature of healing, and even like reincarnation, rebirth. And even as I'm speaking to you, what I'm doing is I'm being present with that uncomfortable sensation. And I'm also, I guess, allowing intuition, vision, that higher energy, and following the guidance as it comes. To me, it feels like right now that we are in like a cavern, like a cave. It's more like a cavern space that I think us who are watching this, we've been put in what I would describe as a womb portal. So the reason that a lot of ritual was done in caves a long time ago in the feminine line and sisterhoods, and even tribal cultures in general, is that there's a quality of womb energy getting closer and into the womb of the earth. And that womb energy, in this context as a cave or a container, it is like really like being in a different world, being in a different dimension, being in a different portal, and it's protected space. And I trust that this video is going to go to whoever it's meant to go to, and I'm going to affirm that intention really strongly now that this is seen. May this video and all of this here be seen by those who are destined to receive it and witness it, those that it will serve their highest good and the highest collective good, and only that. And so it is. So today, I got so frustrated before because I filmed this earlier today and all of my audio was going crazy, and that was really annoying. And I got really frustrated and I got really triggered into like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. It's like, for me, it's always felt like every time I interact with technology, something goes wrong and I get this really intense frustration feeling. And this time I chose to move through it as an initiation, and here we are. And I'm trusting that what is delivered now is more right than what I created before, which ended up having no sound. And I wonder if maybe that channeling was just for me. Anyway, so if you're watching this, you are destined to watch this, and there's a message here for you. And if you're watching this, you are probably connected to the line of the Dawn Sisterhoods, or the Sisterhood of the Dawn. Oh, and even as I say that, I have to breathe for a moment because there's more of that dawn light coming into my body. Now, I'm communicating with you, and I'm communicating with the sisterhoods and the priestesses that are here at the same time. So bear with me. So they're talking about how the Sisterhood of the Dawn is something that has been shrouded in mystery for eons now. And I'm just listening. And this is because she's saying it wasn't quite fully available in collective consciousness, or yet to be revealed in collective consciousness. And it feels to me that more and more, let's say, priestesses or people who have that history with the Sisterhood of the Dawn are going to start to remember it and speak of it the way that I am. The line of the Sisterhood of the Dawn, this particular sisterhood, it is about being able to do, and what they did was perform a lot of feminine ritual that was very in touch with the formless and the void space or the womb space, and through that even very in touch with the portal of death. So we don't want to say, oh, we're in touch with death. We want to say we want to recognize and own death for what it is. When I say to you like, oh, we're in touch with death, even for my nervous system, there's like a negative association. It's like, if we change it to a portal of death, it suggests that there is more, there is something more, or that there is something magical, and it shifts the vibration a little bit. Now I'm listening to this guy. She says, now death is a portal of initiation into a newer self, a higher self. This is this teacher priestess. Death is something that has been sanctified through your life many, many times. Each of you, seems like I'm channeling her, just keep you guys updated. Each of you have been through the death portal and are sanctified by the death portal at the end of each lifetime. I'm seeing these rows of like this life, this life, this life, and like the door of death, this life, this life, this life. And that each time you have initiated yourself through it, you have become more of the soul that you are. It's important for women to reclaim this power, as the versions of yourself that you see before you are going to begin to go through begin rapidly dying. As you are called into the higher initiation of the priestesshood, the sound and the song of remembrance, you are going to be pushed to releasing those parts of self that are holding you back. This is about reclamation of a higher level of feminine power. When we start to get into the higher initiations of death and the magic that was done and can be done through that, we have to take a larger, more expansive version of ourselves into that experience. And we have to there's a capacity for great responsibility in that. And this comes with leadership. And I know personally that's why I'm going through this initiation now, is because I'm coming into more capacity as a leader. And Spirit asked me to teach the leaders and teach the sisters that are coming through. When I speak of this topic, I see these visions of, and I want to describe it to you, of watery darkness. So it's like almost like water, but you know if you see water in a really dark pond and like there's all this shadow and it just looks black. But the water isn't black. It's not like black yucky substance. It's water. But there's all this blackness behind it if you had a black bowl and the water like that. That's what it looks like. This is the portal. This is the portal of the death space. And this association comes from the really cool fact that this era of priestesshood, of sisterhood, of Venus, and all of that comes from Venus. A time when Earth was in a version of herself that we could understand as Venus. And during this time, during this era, it is important for everybody to go through the cycle of death so as to be reborn. She's saying that your earth, so our earth, is going through heavy initiation herself as parts of her die off. Non-resistance is key. Guiding the light and the pathway for humanity is the non-resistance of the feminine who are capable of death. Death is a portal. It is rebirth. Death is a true shift and change. We still use the word death because when we think of rebirth, there's like a concept like it's like, oh, it just continues and it's like a bit of a change. We want to use the language of death, and that's why it's being brought to you now, because this is like everything that you know and going fully into the unknown. It's gone. Even yourself, your inner self is gone, and you become completely new, made new. You have to almost go back into that void space and that womb space. And the trust of the sisterhood is what carries you through. The trust of your connection with the mother, your trust of your connection with your earth. This is what carries you through such a portal. And it makes available the music of the cosmos, becoming part of that web of sound. So sound is very big in this conversation and with the priestesses and even the feminine. We see that with singing and all of that. But rooted in that is the fact that the feminine is connected to the formless. And so sound is vibration without form. And we come back to sound when we come into death. And if we're going to begin again, we are sound first. Or that life or that thing, it is a vibration before it is anything else. So when they say connecting to the sound of the cosmos is what will pull us through, they're saying connecting to the universal song or the universal life wave or vibration or sound. And I keep saying sound because there's such a beautiful vision or little video here of like if you were to go into space and you were looking at all of the spheres, and somehow in this image they're like all visible at the same time, and they're all like making a hum, but we're not actually talking about their individual sphere sound or vibration. We're tuning into how they're all singing the same universal song. And we are all singing the same universal song underneath our own unique soul essence and soul vibration that you uniquely are across lifetimes. Before you were that, you were the song of God. You were raw God force. Absolute raw, absolute just sound, absolute just vibration. So when you go through a death portal, you're going home to that. You're going home to being just, it's almost like just being. And the parts of you that are ready to come home will come home in their own timing. The parts of you that you've carried from the past that no longer serve you will be completely dissolved. They will be dissolved. And this is where the conversation around ego and identity starts to come in. So your identity, your ego, is going to hold on and try to fight such incredible, significant change that you are going through, that I am going through, or that you will go through in the upcoming years. I sense the next sort of 2 years at minimum, the starting point. And your ego is going to say, this feels really uncomfortable. Uncomfortable is like such a, it used to annoy me when people say that. I'm like, you mean painful? You mean fearful? But it's a good word for like a blanket statement of it's not going to be nice and we don't know how it's going to be for you uniquely, right? But it's going to be uncomfortable. what you can do, and the point, a big part of this talk is what you can do, and that is that you can move into surrender and you can move into trusting. This is what makes the transition easier. And again, this feminine beings are highlighting the connection to the mother energy, right? So there's the mother energy, and to just give us contrast and understanding, a father energy. And a mother energy, like when I think of it and tune into that vibration, it is this like huge, like formless, endless, infinite, just like it almost has a nourishing, nurturing, but incredibly blanketing everything and enormity to it, expansive and powerful force. But it is also so unconditionally loving. It's like if a mother was to be an energy of protection, which is more masculine in our understanding, this is what it would be like. It is like the love is so great that you are safe, or you are held in that. That's a better word than the masculine protection. You are held by that. So when you can find, okay, I'm going to surrender to this and I'm going to trust that I'm held through this, there you will find peace. There you will find the portal to death is just surrender. There can either be great peace in the unknown or great fear. Usually it's the initial fear into the unknown, initial step into the unknown, that is where we feel the most fear. But when we cross over, and you don't have to be perfectly like fully surrendered, but just when there's like enough of a percentage of you that stopped resisting and you've surrendered, you start to feel a quality of peace. And the more that you move all of yourself into that aspect that is not fighting, the more that the peace feeling will grow. And everything will still be unknown, but the unknown won't be bad. It won't be like filled with fear or pain or anything. It's safe to be in a new beginning. You're safe to be in a new beginning. You're safe to know and stand in your true and full power. Losing the identity is a gift. Losing the identity is a gift that makes having the identity freedom of choice. That's so amazing. That's so amazing. I love that. I'm like mentally writing that down. I really needed to hear that. And that is true, what I have found with this whole experience. So the Sisterhood of the Dawn, it is a collective consciousness. It is a feminine radiance, or I should say emanation. The way that this amazing history is, and that era of Earth, that era of Venus, it was so amazing because the mechanics of the energy was actually opposite, because it was more of a feminine expression of Earth than the more masculine, spirits give me a word like spiritual aerodynamics that are playing out here. So here, for example, we have the white sun, and this white sun has a protruding energy, like it comes down and that's giving life to everything. And so when we manifest, or when things are birthed in this world, it's always a birthing aspect, but then there's more of a formed sort of outward expression, and that's how we're operating here and also creating here. In this other form of the earth, which we could also associate with Venus, you didn't manifest anything through any kind of force in terms of like a forward propulsion. This actually didn't even exist. Everything, including just life and like anything that came into form, It had to be toned and sung into form, and then it was richly emanated. So I should say, richly emanated, saturated, and then allowed into being. Allowed in that it just is. It almost just comes into a state of isness. Do you feel how feminine that is and how watery that is? Side note here is that what I just described is also the process of manifesting, even now, from your feminine. Additional steps need to be taken to fully form and build it. Additional masculine steps, so action and forward movement, need to be taken often, not always, but often in this realm due to the nature of it. But women should be primarily doing all of that work to saturate, emanate, and then you take the inspired, channeled, aligned actions. This is the most peaceful way to manifest, and it's most aligned for the feminine expression. Spirit's talking about, your membership of the Sisterhood of the Dawn, it is already inside of you. It is already a portal that is inside of you. And the message is just that more and more of you are going to be going through that. And that's important. Also, there's a note here to rest, going through what you're going through. And I'm seeing an image of a snake shedding its skin. Let me watch that for a minute. When the snake struggles to get out, it's also sometimes it's a fight, sometimes it's just struggle, or something that looks like a struggle, but it's really just changing its form. Sometimes it's better to be still and to allow the shedding. Sometimes you have to move a little bit to come into that full shed. So when you're moving through this, dance with those 4 kind of styles of moving through it. Don't struggle, I should say 3. So the struggle against and trying to keep your old skin or anything like that, don't do that. Okay. And then the other one is to know that you're going to almost melt down, kind of almost in this instance like a caterpillar where you completely dissolve, and you just got to let that happen. And that's where the discomfort can happen, and that's where you're just going to feel it and you're not going to resist it, and at times you might almost encourage it a little bit. The discomfort meaning it's going to feel practically the fight of the ego, the negative thoughts or the triggers coming up, emotional stuff, changes in life circumstances or relationships, letting the change of the caterpillar dissolving, who is changing. He's not actually dying, gone forever. Nothing ever dies forever. He is changing. But he, as he knows himself, as you know yourself, you're dying. And you have to allow that. So that's another option or phase. And then there's also to fully surrender and allow, and the wind will take your skin away. The wind will take the old self away. And then maybe there's a final push to get out, right? To wiggle out of it. And you've got to take some action or something. That's the process here. And can confirm personally that is what I've gone through. This has been a really challenging period of my life. And for me, it's because it's been associated with actual near-death experiences that I have lived. And having to transmit that. But I also really went through some very interesting psychic experiences and physical psychic experiences of kind of redoing old rituals that we did in that time. There was often a death ritual that was done intentionally through the bath or a bath of water. And this could also be done through putting oneself in like a coffin, something, going into submersion and essentially meeting with your death point, which is the point where you are going to die. And then here in the ritual, it's about letting the ego or that state of consciousness pass through you and dissolve, so that you can go higher. So that's what I've been moving through recently, and it's been so challenging, but also coming out of it now and having that last push, like the snake, like, get me out of this old skin, is starting to be really beautiful. And as you can see, like when I make these videos and things, I move from what's going on in my own life to birth wisdom to share, because also, especially for collectives of people, in this case, the collective of the feminine or women, we are all likely going through these big shifts. And again, that message of, because there's a reflection and mirroring energy that's happening with the Mother Earth as she is going through those shifts and changes. That's because she is a mother, she is feminine being, so are you. You are mother, you are feminine being. And so women are very connected to the earth in terms of mirroring aspects, a mirroring experience. And also that means our positive influence that we can put upon the world. So that's also why the Sisterhoods of the Dawn have come in at this time as well, is because there is a real calling, just that energetic mechanics are naturally happening, and also there's an invitation, I should say, calling, invitation, magnetic pull, that's an invitation for you to come into more of your full feminine force. I fucking love saying feminine force. I love it so much, because that is the language that has been put forward to me from my spirit guides, and especially beings like more leadership and very, very powerful beings like Goddess Isis and this Sisterhood of the Dawn. What's returning to the earth is not just like the feminine energy, but the feminine force, which means her fullness, the full power of the feminine force, which, as they say to me, has not been felt or upon this earth for generations upon generations upon generations. They're saying, oh my gosh, I'm getting so many like resonance chills. They're saying not since the Sisterhoods of the Magdalene. So that was however many thousands of years ago, around when Yahweh, Jesus, was on the earth and all of that. This level of feminine power, or this, I hate, not level, because it's not higher up level, it's actually more expansion. This fullness of the feminine power has not been here since the Mary Magdalene schools, and the Sisterhoods of the Magdalene and the Rose and all of that. And oh my gosh, it's so important. It's so important for you to be in your full feminine power. When we get back that power, and which is to say that you come into your softer feminine where you can relax and flow and everything, you do have to go through, in my experience and working with clients, I've observed this again and again, that there are points in the feminine embodiment path where you will be stepping into your masculine, and you have to heal your masculine energy. You have to heal your masculine energy so that you can use it appropriately, and so that it can act as containment and strength and all the aspects of the masculine that are good to support the fullness of your feminine. So you go through that, and then you come into a full expression of feminine leadership, which is coming from the women who are embodying feminine force, or is going to more and more become from women who are embodying that. It's like a merging of those masculine feminine poles really well, and then because you did that higher level of full feminine can like come out now and like explode. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. So let me see if there's anything else to share with you. Spirit's saying, remember to take the time to breathe as you've received a lot through this video. You've received channel transmission of energetic remembrance and song, and you've received a lot of guidance to integrate. Letting yourself breathe, spending time in nature, putting your feet on the earth, spending time in water, having a bath. If more and more women have a bath, that can so stimulate the feminine memory. And make your baths beautiful if you want to, if it feels good to you. Flowers, oils, all of that, yes. And coming into stillness. Let's all come into stillness together for a minute. Okay, so as always, I do offer feminine experiences, feminine containers. So if you want to work one-on-one or in small group, do message me. It's so beautiful. Right now I have a really special offer. It's called Initiate the Feminine. And it is an amazing portal that if you join now, you get an extra free 4 days in the Feminine Fire portal, which is really cool. And I also have 2 spots open for my one-on-one called Priestess Power. This is really beautiful, and it's for the women who want to come into the next level of your psychic development, your full feminine force, leadership, and basically become the expanded version of you who you've always seen in your mind and you want to actually be. I have specials on all of that stuff right now, so check it out. There's always something that we can create together, and I'm so excited, and have a great day.